actually, I wouldn't be able to go to grad school for you know, I mean, you know, he's very supportive, and like I said, I really didn't have an interest in politics, and you know, he's the one that really got me reading. So he's a big influence in my life as far as, you know, education goes. So yeah. So I wasn't really sure what I really wanted to focus on, or what you guys kind of wanted to know about me, or the degree specifically, but on the agenda there, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, because I love talking about myself, and then I'm just going to go briefly over the application process. It sounds like you guys have, you know, heard a lot. You just said way more specific information about the, you know, the personal statement than I think I'm detailed, that I'm not going to go into. But and then IO Psych, I knew somebody was interested in that, and then finances, and then wrap up, and then you guys ask me any questions if you'd like to ask me, you know, today or later through email or phone. So I was the first in my family to graduate from high school, the first in my family to graduate from college and pursue my doctorate. So, you know, that's basically why Otto wanted me to be here, like he mentioned in his very nice introduction. I thought it was probably important to just kind of talk about what I thought what my trials and my tribulations have been being a first generation student. One of them is, where do I look for guidance and support, and when I started looking into schools, I didn't know about, you know, how much is this going to cost me, what do I want to get my degree in. And, you know, people were saying, oh, you know, a bachelor's degree is about this many hours, and an associate's is about this many hours. And I thought, what? I don't know what any of that means. Like, I didn't know what any of that meant. So just kind of starting, you know, fresh, like with a clean slate, and really trying to, I guess, shape what I wanted my education, you know, to look like. And I found people, basically, I'm sure you guys, even if you didn't have people in your family that went to school, you maybe knew, you know, some teachers that influenced your life, or like I mentioned, you know, Zach, you know, people that kind of, you know, guide you and that you look up to, and those were kind of, I guess, how I, you know, dealt with that in my life. And then I coined this, you know, cleverly and dramatically, the Great Divide. And that is like the difficulty that I have now relating to my family because of my education. They don't get it, you know. Like, I mean, it doesn't. It's just, it is what it is, you know. They like don't understand why it's important to me. They don't understand why I'm not already married, which I took care of that, you know, part. But you know, when I was not even thinking about marriage, they were asking me why I wasn't married, why I wasn't having babies, and while those things are very important to me, it wasn't my priority. So I couldn't really, yeah, it's difficult for me to relate to my family, and especially with the distance. You know, as you mentioned, a lot of my family's in Texas, so they don't have money to come see me, and I'm very invested in my career, and I don't have a lot of time, or you know, to see them. Although I do talk to them, it's just it's a different you know, priorities in your life. So that was really a big challenge for me, and it still is. I'm learning to deal with it, and you know, however I can. But definitely an issue. And then I said the path of a nonconformist, and that to me just means going, okay, well, like I said, I mentioned before, I don't know what this looks like, and I don't know what this means, and I can, you know, kind of continue in this very comfortable role in my family and just, you know, hang out, get married, have babies, not go to school, you know. But I was excited to figure out how to not deal with the struggles that my family had, you know. So my dad was, you know, struggled a lot. He would walk to work, you know, we lived in a like roach-infested apartment, you know. He would save money so that we could, you know, have things, but, you know, that meant, getting, pies from the convenience store or something. You know what I mean? It was like, so I didn't want to ever be in a situation where I felt like I wanted my kids to worry about how I was doing or how the family was doing or how we were going to make it. I never wanted to have to consider that. I didn't want to have to think about it. And my dad worked all the time, 80 hours. He worked in retail and as grocery manager, and after he worked through night shifts and things, he would work in the night and then sleep during the day. And then what does that, my parents divorced, so what does that leave me for, like, hanging out with my parents? I didn't really have any sort of parental influence or time in my life. So anyhow, that was definitely a struggle. And then I kind of looked up some, apologize for the psychological terms that might appear every now and again. But the flat learning curve versus like a steep learning curve. So I felt like I had to make up for all this time that I wasn't exposed to education. I didn't read growing up, and it was just, I got to college and all these people around me, I knew I was smart, but they were like smart and they knew all this vocabulary, and like it was a given to them, and didn't come naturally, or not that it didn't come naturally, but I had to kind of catch up really fast. And then also knowing that I have to set, realistic expectations for myself, knowing that, I'm not going to be able to have the vocabulary level. I'm not going to learn everything that took someone, 18 years to learn. I'm not going to be able to learn that in a year. So kind of just forgiving myself for, I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. I'm smart and I'm bright and, anyhow.
But there's no one here that can relate to that.
Exactly, everyone is the smartest person in the room.
That's right.
And these inspirational nonconformist quotes. The second one was, most people are, this one speaks really true to me. Most people are more comfortable with old problems than with new solutions. So that was my family. That was my dad struggling, and this perpetual, I'm tired and I have to work and then I don't have an education, I can't improve our financial situation, and it's just kind of like stuck here. And I wanted to make sure that the next generation, that I was going to be able to improve on that process, of having a family. And then, my kids will improve on that. And just trying to be kind of innovative and figuring out how to improve my situation. If that makes any sense to you guys. And the other one's just kind of funny too. Application process, again, I'm not going to talk about that very much. I just kind of briefly went over what my personal experiences were. 10th grade level math, I didn't have any sort of challenges with that. I was pretty, I was okay at math during, school, so.
Hi, I'm sorry, excuse me.